to the Everyday is a New Day podcast and live show, the inspirational show about moving forward and choosing to be more of you, transmuting the self-doubt and stepping into courageously aligned confidence in who you uniquely are. My name is Kim O'Neill. I'm a twice certified transformational confidence coach, Reiki master, best-selling author, and former crime analyst who now helps empathic, heart-centered individuals shatter the noise of self-doubt, find clarity on what self-love really looks like, and the courage to be peacefully grounded in who you've always known you are, from the inside out. Join me for the live shows on Facebook and YouTube, and visit KimO'NeillCoaching.com for more info. Let's get to it. Welcome to another Everyday is a New Day show. Let's get to it. I'm loving that phrase at the end of the intro there. How are you doing today? I hope you're having a wonderful day. I know there's a lot shifting in our world, and I'm feeling some of it too. And we have this beautiful opportunity to come together, raise our vibration, align with who each of us authentically are, and be the beautiful light that each and every one of us individually and collectively are in the world. So welcome to the Everyday is a New Day show. Let me know in the comments where you're joining us from today. Are you watching on Facebook, on YouTube? Say hello. Let us know what's coming up for you as we go throughout our conversation. And with that, I am excited to bring today's guest on screen. Welcome to Daniel Hanneman.
Thank you, Kim. I'm so glad to be with you today. Every day is a new day. I'm so happy to be here to shine light on the awesomeness that we all are.
Absolutely. I hear you, Daniel. I am too. And a quick hello to our live viewers. I see Helene is with us, and we do have someone else in the closed Facebook group saying hello. We can't see your face, but good to see you here. It might be Anne. Good to see you, Anne. So, Daniel, what I'm going to do is I want to go ahead and share with everyone a little bit about who you are, and I'm going to read a chunk of your bio because you have such a diverse background, I find. And I love that about you. So I'm going to just read a little bit of your bio for everybody so they can know a little bit more about who you are. And I'd love for you to expand on what you do and all of that. So for those just getting to meet Daniel Hanneman for the very first time, he hosts the Spiritual Rockstar podcast and is known for assisting his clients in aligning with their spiritual purpose. He has an extensive background as a professional counselor and certified hypnotherapist with combined business and professional backgrounds in energy scanning, energy clearing, spiritual life coaching, intuitive business coaching, channeling, metaphysics, religious science, hypnosis, psychology, motivational techniques, and personal business development systems. He is also a co-author of the best-selling book series, Wake Up, Live the Life You Love, Living in Abundance, which also featured internationally renowned legends Anthony Robbins, Dr. Wayne Dyer, and Dr. Michael Beckwith. And of course, that is just merely scratching the surface of some of the work that you have done, Daniel. So, Daniel, will you share with our audience a little bit more about who you are and what you do today?
Yeah, thank you, Kim. Yeah, that's a great question. What do I do? It's funny. I mean, I'm not great with elevator pitches, right? So I'm like, okay, where do I start with that question? So, actually, I do intuitive business coaching, believe it or not. You're like, I should have this nailed, right? But I do intuitive business coaching. The reason why it's a little hard to explain at first is because it's not maybe ordinary, sort of business coaching. What I do is and I'm a spiritual teacher and all that stuff. So what I do is I really have a gift of tuning in and connecting is my big gift. And I really, massively download and totally see who people are and be able to really shine light on that. So they, within their business can be who they are. Like you're talking about that in the intro. So they can actually really be who they are and let the foundation of that, be built within their business then for the big world changing impact that they want to have. And then to, let go of the old patterns. Most people I work with have, these patterns, and everybody has patterns, but the patterns are often around unworthiness and pushing, and I got to prove myself, and I'm going to make it happen. And then it's like, yeah, I know that's not the way the next level is going to unfold for me. So I'm there to help them to trust, getting in their body, get out of their head, get out of the driver energies, and trust the authentic true self to shine and share. And I help them to do that through getting their branding crystal clear, their theme at least, and then building, their business by identifying exactly who they're supposed to be helping, their offers, and then aligning with that and really, owning their gifts too. Like a lot of people have these incredible gifts they're not honoring or valuing. And so I help them to honor and value that so they can make, deep impact to increase the awakening within themselves and others and make more sales. And so that's what I do.
Daniel, I love it. And yeah, I think so many of us know about that elevator pitch. I've worked on mine 50 zillion times. It's totally okay. I know how amazing you are because a few years ago, and I mentioned this to you when we first met, a few years ago, I was a listener on a call you did with, I believe it was Eva Gregory. And I was one of the chosen listeners that got to speak briefly with Daniel, and Daniel got to coach me or share some insights with me. It's a little vague now, but I do remember it being very profound, and you definitely saw into me. So I think what you do today, whether you know how to define it or not, is powerful, is the point. So, Daniel, what that leads me to first wanting to ask you is, what did you want to do when you were a kid? How different or similar is that to what you do today?
Yeah, as a kid, I was shy and quiet, and so to this day, I still feel awkward, and at times for sure, even with doing what's natural to me. I feel funny, I feel goofy, I feel not the norm. That's what people love about me, or they don't. But I just kind of naturally was really saw people, and I saw how awesome they were, and I could see where their sense of self-doubt and limits were. I was doing that just naturally as a kid. I could just see the hysteria, the nonsense people would put themselves into. I think a lot of us kids do, but I just saw that, and I just had a calm, steady, gentle presence for people that I think helped support people. And then as I started growing up more and more, I became that kind of counselor type to people, just okay, that's what you got going on, and let me help you with that. And one aspect too, this is more of my early adulthood, but I remember my mom wanted to increase what she was charging in her accounting business, and I was like, Mom, yeah, you got to do it. And I championed her to charge double what she was charging, and she was already thinking about it, but I helped. I just remember being of help, whatever amount of influence I had. Great. I like to think I had a lot, but who knows? That might be my ego. But I took a stand for her, and then she nailed it. She took it to the next level. And then, and I just always been that guy. I remember going out to a college visit together with one of my friends, and I weirdly became his agent to get into the school. I'm like, this guy is amazing. You got to take him on, and then they're accepting him into the school, and he didn't get it. He's like, what? Am I in? Am I not? Dude, you're in. You just got in. We just got it done. So it's just always was, but advocating for people's greatness and to be that champion that ensures that who they really are is going to win, if that makes sense.
I think it totally makes sense. Does it make sense to those who are with us live today? I think it totally does. And I just want to applaud you for owning your awkwardness, the awkwardness that you feel, because I think part of what helps us get out of alignment, what basically contributes to us being out of alignment, is not owning those things that, we might see as oh, I need to change this or something. No, we don't. Right. So I think that's awesome that you own it. That's part of allowing yourself to be who you are and show up naturally and authentically. So I just have to acknowledge that, because everything you're speaking speaks right to the Let Your Light Shine movement, which is what, one of my big messages this year. It's all about being who you are. So Awesome. So you have been helping people really see those things that, could be extracted and come out into the light and help them to blossom even more. And so now when you help people with their businesses, would you, it sounds like you're not the typical business coach, but I mean, how would you describe yourself? What's different or unique about how you help people with their businesses versus maybe a typical business coach?
Well, I'm very hands-on. I currently I work only one-to-one with people. I've had groups and trained people on how to do what I do with the scanning and tuning in, and very successfully did that with many, many people. I still take on some clients for that as well, but it's not the primary focus anymore. So I really know that I'm meant to help, whatever number of people, but to bring big changes into the world, and that maybe can't happen unless they have the right sort of support. And so that's my focus. And so people come to me, typically they've done a lot of business coaching. They may already have business coaching. Still, my typical client often has already a business coach. And what happens is they're helping them maybe in a certain area, or they're not feeling like it's all, completely working the way they want it to, the level they want it to. And I think what's missing is they don't feel like the person they're working with probably maybe sees them and gets them at the level that I do. I don't want to be insulting to anybody else, but they're really, I am not a metrics guy, like, okay, analytics and all. I can do it, but it's not kind of my thing. But what I do is I'm just able to see who you are. And then, when you're struggling and try to get something going, it's because you're not being yourself. So what I'm able to do is to see who you really are, get it landed in your energy and in your messaging and in your marketing, and even how you approach your sales process and what you do there, and then have it resonate in your programs and what you're charging and everything. And so it's a level that I bring them into their energy and their body rather than their head. And this way of being, of letting it emerge through their beingness, rather than it being a headspace, let's go get it kind of thing. And so it's the approach, and it's the high touch, and I'm working with their energy. That some people do that, but I think a lot of people have told me that a lot of people are saying to me, "There's just no one else in the world that could help me the way you've just helped me." And it's because of the way I'm able to see who they really are and bring that forth.
That's what it sounds like. And we have a live viewer saying, I believe I could definitely benefit from your coaching. Yeah, it sounds like you provide something that a lot of other people don't go as deep and see.
Yes.
And
Yes.
And it's at the root of what's working or not working is what it sounds like, what you get to.
Yeah, exactly. When we know who you are really well, especially for the coaches and healers, but it can be other businesses. It's like when we really see who you are, then we can really see what you're meant to serve, right? And the people you're meant to serve, because the people you're meant to serve in this field tend to be the people that you are, right? So
yes,
they show up as other aspects of you. That's your tribe, as we call it a tribe for a reason. You're part of that tribe. You're meant to help that tribe. So I am really good at, getting in there and getting that tuned in. And that's all part of the first steps. And I just kind of, get the process started with my clients with really kind of getting obsessive about tell me everything. I want to know everything. What are you doing? I really get into it because I really care, and I really want to know what might be disconnecting your energy so that we can eliminate it and optimize, focusing on your strengths. And having you really love yourself, that's really a core principle of my work. Love yourself, stop judging yourself, just be who you are. There's nothing, in a way, there's really, there's nothing to fix. There's
right.
a matter of bringing everything back into wholeness and love.
Now, you mentioned, I believe you mentioned that you also help people who don't necessarily have businesses, but you help them with that same alignment piece and whatever it is they're doing in the world, correct?
To some degree, yeah. Some people, they're usually always business people.
Okay.
But when they come to me, I'm a great healer, especially when it comes to getting you into alignment with being who you are and how that affects your relationships and how it might affect your health and other areas of your life, career, et cetera. So, yeah, I definitely do deeper work with people with my ability to tune in. work with the blocks and shadows and creative new ways that maybe probably you've never, no, I haven't seen anybody work with them the way I do. And then bring things into alignment. I work with the chakra system a lot. It's part of that. And, so yeah, I do that work as well. And sometimes that's where people start with me if that's what they primarily need more so. Because sometimes they need that a lot more than they need necessarily me working on their business directly at first if they have a lot of energetic wound issues that need to be addressed first. So it kind of depends.
Do you, being more specific than just alignment or misalignment, do you tend to see any patterns or trends of what's contributing to people being out of alignment? Does that question make sense?
Yeah. I mean, there's, some people say there's 7 core wounds that everybody has, or 3 or 2 or what, like there's a lot of different ideas, but the way I like to look at it is there's a pattern of judging life. That's kind of my thing. You're judging the part that's the critical factor that we call it critical factor in hypnosis, right? Critical factor in the hypnosis field. A critical factor is like constantly evaluating everything, and it's always going to find problems, and it's always, and then it goes into judgment. It's instead of just observing and saying, "Oh, I noticed this or that," it's saying like, "That's wrong, that's bad. We need to get rid of that." And I'm really mad about that. I got a whole idea about that, how evil it is, and how horrible I am too, and how little I am, and how unworthy I am, and all these stories. It's like this big Tower of Babel. And it's like it's all based on just you're just judging yourself and others' life. You're just judging things, right? And people sometimes say, "Well, judging is important." Okay, you know what kind of judging I'm talking about? It's kind of craziness. So, like I love like what one of my coaches right now says, which is what I would have said a long time ago, but like I love the way she says it. She says, our mind isn't for all this massive thinking and craziness. It's meant for observing. It's much more meant for observing more than maybe anything. Like we're there to observe, and you're going to learn, you're going to have questions or whatever, but you're there to just be present. If the mind's not still, you're not in your body. Just remember, if you're not still, if your mind is not still, you're not in your body. You're starting to leave your body, and you're leaving literally the infinite intelligence that is keeping you alive and allowing everything that you would want to happen in your life from happening. It's jamming the works. It's taking you out of your body and not allowing that to happen at all, or as efficiently or as well as it could. So, you don't want to do that. So the whole process is to get more in your body. And it's one of the number one things I talk to people about again and again. Get out of the pattern of being in your head. Go in your body, and that will in itself help to clear a lot of the other things we say that go on with people.
That was a fantastic answer. And I love that. I can totally relate to some of that. Can you relate to that? Oh, that is so good. That is a great answer. Thank you for sharing that. So about observing, the mind is for observing. Wonderful. Well, as I do with all my guests this year, I asked Daniel, I said, what does letting your light shine mean to you? Because that is our theme this year. It's all about letting your light shine. And Daniel said, allow my deepest essence to share my gifts in a big way with the world, along with all my humanity for the highest good of all. That is such a deep, rich answer, Daniel. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's the letting go, and then like I want to kind of say what I'm trying to say in there, flesh that out. So I think that a lot of people are spiritually opening and awakening. Mm-hmm. They start to go to a place of maybe of like, oh man, it's about this. It's about this spiritual high I'm getting, or I had a satori, or I'm in samadhi now, or whatever. Like I want to get there, and I figure it's about that. When you feel really good, right? Just feel good all the time, and or it's about I want to ascend. I want to get out of my body, for God's sakes, And it's like what my thing is like, no, come into the body. It's one of my guests on my podcast said, we did a show. It's called "The Body is a Gift." Like The body is a gift. We're meant to come into the body, into the earth. And a lot of times what we're doing is spiritual people is we're trying to get out of the body.
Right.
Like even if you don't know you're doing that, like, oh, the higher vibrations are up in the upper field. Let's go there. Let's just stay there. It's like, come back. A lot of it is like you're just judging. Again, it's all the judgy stuff. Oh, we don't like those people. They're all dark and they're manipulating people. And I don't do that. Yeah, right. If you notice it, you're doing it. You're part of that somehow, right? You're part of it. It's all one. So, you need to stop judging it and others and yourself. Come back and love it. And when you love it, it can actually become what it's really ultimately meant to become, or meant to be when it comes back into wholeness, which is something that isn't all this darkness, all the manipulation. Like manipulation may turn into beautiful persuasion for someone's highest good, to support others in a loving way, right? Loving kindness. Manipulation means I'm out of control. I better reel them in, or let's get away from me, or I'm not going to get what I want, or but when it comes back in, it's like, oh, I can just have what I want. Yay. Like, yum, I just let it in, right? So when I do this deeper work with people, that's what we're doing. We're getting it so the energy can be the way it really is meant to be when it comes back into love and wholeness. And you have to love your humanity and embrace that to allow that to happen, and for the highest good of all, as it says in the quote.
Daniel, thank you for adding the piece, and I'm going to say the polarity of viewing manipulation.
Yeah.
Because thank you for that. That was really wonderful. I also asked Daniel, if he had an empowering quote he'd like to share with us, and Daniel shared this one: "The end of all wisdom is love, love, love," by Ramana Maharishi. Hope I pronounced that correctly.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And you basically just ended on your explanation of the previous quote with going right back to love and loving your humanity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that kind of just takes you right out of your mind, doesn't it? Like, because you keep reading quotes. What does this mean? What does that mean? But this is one of those quotes where it's like, oh, yeah, right? That's why it's one of my favorite quotes, because it just kind of puts you in that surrender state where you just let go of everything. You're like, yeah, that's it. So, I mean, there is, it's about, when we get connected, right? When you go into meditation, certain meditations, or maybe prayer for some of you, you go into that deep sacred heart, into this heart space. And it's like instantly, when you really get connected to that space, instantly you realize there's no problems anymore, right? There's no problems. There's no problem. Now, then you really understand. You really feel it. You really know you're in the kingdom, so to speak, or the queendom, whatever you prefer. But you're in that place, of heaven on earth. You're going to feel it right in that heart space. And you realize, like, what a bunch of again, divine folly that we're experiencing here but we're not meant to we're meant to enjoy it. We're meant to observe it, because our higher self, our observant self, really, I always say, is having a good time. No matter what we're doing, like, it's still having a good time, believe it or not. Even in some of your tragedies, or I want to say really all your tragedies, but it may be too much for people. But really, in all your experiences, it's like, oh, this is pretty cool, because it knows you're fine. You're absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong. Like, you're having these experiences. It's like, oh, this is pretty cool. Whatever. Like, this is another experience we get to have. So you're meant to enjoy them, and the more you can. Again, it comes back to the other quote. It's just a matter of embracing everything, and then you come back into the love, and you get to experience your life as self-love, and like everything is self-love. Like when you love yourself perfectly, you're loving everything perfectly, and everything unfolds perfectly in your life from that space. It's a huge key, at least.
Oh, I love it. And we had a viewer saying, great topic for today. And I agree. Daniel, tell people where they can connect with your show, Spiritual Rockstar.
Yeah. So if they want to check that out, there's different places you can go. One place would be on my website. If they go to yoursacredpurpose.com/blog, you can find it on my blog there. Okay. It's also on YouTube, Spiritual Rockstar, and then it's also on Stitcher and, all the usual ones, and iTunes and Spotify. I think it's on Spotify, and it's on Spotify, and then all these different ones. So so you can find me all over the place on with the podcast.
Okay, so I want to make sure I have your website correct. So it's yoursacredpurpose.com and then /blog gets them to the show.
To get to the shows. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. And so that's on the screen for our live viewers here. And Daniel, so one of the things I love to do towards the end of the show, we still have a few more minutes, but I love to expand on the message by pulling cards, something fun I love to do. And most of the audience tends to like it too, I think. So before we went live, Daniel helped me select the Self-Care Cards deck by Cheryl Richardson. So Daniel, I'm going to just do some light shuffling here, and then I would love for you to help me in choosing a card to expand on today's conversation. So light shuffling, light shuffling, light shuffling. And okay, Daniel, when you are ready. Oh. Okay, I'll put those aside. Would you still like to select one?
Yeah, no. Why don't you pick one out now?
Okay, so we had two that popped up on the surface. We have courage.
Yeah.
This one doesn't come out a whole lot. It says, take the leap. Your courage will see you through. Awesome. And the second one, we have creativity.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And it says, express your creativity, delight in the mystery of your inner muse. David, Daniel, so sorry. I don't know. Okay. What comes up for you as you see these two cards?
Yeah, I think really, I just be really logical about it. I just get the sense, well, first of all, like that lion energy is in there. So that's interesting to me. If I talk about myself, first of all, it's like, we are sort of in a lion, enlightened lion, I would probably age right now for the spiritual up and comers. Like, we have to realize it's not about letting go of like all this strength and power and just like, we go all passive and like a passive, like, I don't know, feminine energy, if you want to call it that, but like just this passiveness. It's about like, no, more strength, but, from a centered place, and then allowing ourselves to embrace creativity. Creativity is the answer for everything. It really is. Like any like worldly problems, there's creativity that will solve it every single time. But you have to let that work itself through. It will solve anything. It'll solve anything. But I find like people cut off their creativity because they get caught up in their heads, rather than let the natural stream of creativity that wants to come through them to take care of any situation. Just something as small as for 10 seconds or 15 seconds there. Like me, we're looking at getting this new house. I'll just put it this way without getting into details. Like, we're so clear on this house, and we've seen this happen before. Someone else put an offer down, and but it's already been rejected, right? So like it was put in, they accepted it, and then like it didn't. If something got screwed up, and like so, if this house is for us, can I have it? Because we just know it, right? And so we could be freaked out trying to strategize it, but we know there's a creativity that's happening, and if it's meant for us, it's going to happen, and that's a creative stream. We have to have courage to trust.
Yeah. Oh, that is so good. Yes, courage to trust. And okay, I love that, Daniel. So what was coming up for me is speaking right back to having the courage to be in your own flow, to be you, because and this creativity card is green for those who are with us. It's actually green, which is representative of the heart chakra. And so having the courage to actually drop down into your heart, be in your own flow, so you can authentically be who you are. That's what I get.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Let's take a look at our live viewer comments here. We have a few more here. And Helene, of course, she is saying, let your light shine. Absolutely. If you have not already joined the Let Your Light Shine movement, the link is scrolling at the bottom of the screen there, and would love to see you join as well. We'd love to highlight you. And John here, let's see, what is John saying? John is saying elimination of judgments, regardless of the judgment, allows the love to be expressed within you. It's when you love that you may overcome any contrast. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, John. And And we have a question here, your sacred workspace question mark. Daniel, anything come up for you as you look at that?
Your sacred workspace? I'm not sure what they're asking, to be honest.
Maybe they're asking if you have a sacred workspace.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, take a look around. Yeah, it's pretty sacred. I got Buddha there. I got Jesus in the background by my altar. And then I have a portrait of me that one of my students did for me that, did on her own. And then, and then I have my altar back there where, I pray for my clients and loved ones every day. And so, yeah, yeah, we definitely, I don't know what the question was other than yes, we want to have a sacred work. You want to create a sacred space to do your work. I mean, I feel like I could totally optimize my space even more, to tell you the truth. But yeah, we want to do what we can to optimize our space. And that is definitely something that can be neglected. There's so many factors. There's so many different things that can enhance your flow and make it easier. There's a lot of people who have had lots of great success, and then they just feng shui their office or something. All of a sudden they can go to the next level. So environment is a huge factor.
I love that. Thank you. And that's something I've been working on in my space too. So good question. Hopefully we answered that in the way that it was meant to be asked. Daniel, thank you so much for being here today. Are there any final words you'd like to share with our audience? Anything we didn't touch on that you would like to share?
Just, I mean, the one thought comes is love yourself. Just love yourself and embrace everything. Embrace everything, and just really, really practice. Being out of your mind. I mean, it's a place that I've really gotten caught up in at times in my life for 100%. Okay, so I get it, but it's an addiction. It's like an addiction. It's like that's where addictions come from. It's like you need to get into your body, and what does that mean? Just get still in your mind. That'll start navigating you in your body, and then just really feel your presence with the earth. Go on a maybe some of your listeners already do this sometimes, but go on a walk where you just think about nothing but just connect with your presence with nature. And that's your entire focus. No, thoughts may happen like a meditation, but just connect from that space, and then just try to stay in that space all day long. If you start your day with a walk like that, like I do, just your assignment is just to stay in that space as much as you can all day, and feel everything from your body and all your relationships and all your work and everything you're doing. Connect from the body and watch the magic.
That was a beautiful parting message. Thank you so much for sharing that, Daniel. And thank you for being here today. Thank you to our live audience who is with us, whether you're live on Facebook or YouTube. So awesome to have you here. And I want to say thank you to all of our podcast replay listeners as well. Let us know what you're taking away from today's show down in the comments wherever you listened or viewed. I love connecting and hearing from you. With that, remember that Daniel's website is yoursacredpurpose.com. Remember that you have an open invitation to join the Let Your Light Shine movement. Would love to see you there, have you join us. And Helene is saying thank you all. So thank you to everybody. With that, we are going to leave. Have an amazing day. We'll be back on Monday with another Inspirational Message Monday, and next Thursday with another fantastic guest. Bye for now, everybody.
Bye.